Hello, welcome back, Transformer TCG fans. This is Grillenheimer. Thanks for following. Thanks for looking for new cards, a whole new type of card. We're continuing base cards. And we finished my file 3, so now we're on file 4. Some of these we've already looked at before. The ARC cards are in here. There's 36 cards in total in this file. The space bridges are in here. They're already in here. So you know about the space bridge. You know about the ARC. Well, maybe not. Well, let's just start at the top, and let's just go from here. Which I don't think I've gone over these yet. I've been doing a lot of recordings, and so I'm trying to do this in order so I know what has been gone over before. So without further ado, let's go to Prehistoric Earth. It is a white pip base card and green with the Battle Patrol. Oh, sorry, that I was hit my desk. The Battle Patrol can get this on the flip. Otherwise, it can be drawn right out of your deck. Each spaceship, beast, and battle patrol has bold 1 for battle. So not till end of turn, but for battle. Each car, tank, and plane has oppress 1 tough. So yes, I'm incorporating, I think it's Bayformer's oppress, which originally meant like taking 1 bold and tough away from your opponent for battle. But here I just put tough. I wanted to make sure it's only the tough that you're taken away from. 1. So if they have tough 2, they have tough 1. If they get are able to work up tough 3, they have tough 2. You know, they're not going to be able to flip as many cards for defense as they would want to in Prehistoric Earth. A character cannot have tough less than 0, which just really should go without saying. But there's Prehistoric Earth. It's mainly a white-green pip card. Prehistoric Earth Knight. I feel like I've gone over this before, and I probably have. There are 3 different faction cards with this, which is really interesting because had Wizards continued the game, they may have tried to do this for monetary reasons. I mean, think about it. The way I have set up the base cards is that, especially with certain cards, let's see here. Oh, I don't see one right off in this group. But you know, I have made a few cards where Autobot faction cards cannot be played by either player. Decepticon faction cards cannot be played by either player. So if you have Prehistoric Knight and you're wanting to help out your spy patrols or your off-road patrols or whatever, or your motorcycles teams or whatever with biker gang or whatever, you know, if you're trying to go for some really neat and interesting new combos and effects here, that, you know, if your opponent has something that prevents you from playing Autobot faction cards, and all you have are Prehistoric Earth Knight Autobot cards, well, you're going to want to go buy more cards to try to get that Decepticon version or that Maximal version. The Spy Patrol are Decepticons, Off-Road Patrol are Autobots. Even though you are oppressing 1 tough with Autobot Maximals, I still included the Maximal faction card for this because that's also where this is coming from, is from the original Beast War show from season 1, before one of the moons gets destroyed, and we see Optimus Primal's head float through space. So without further ado, let's I've already gone through most of this, but let's just read it anyway. Each motorcycle, spy patrol, and off-road patrol has bold 1 for battle. I'm a little excited, so I'm trying to rein in my voice some. Each Autobot and Maximal has oppress 1 tough. When do you have tough? When you're defending. Is it your turn? No, it's your opponent's turn. So I didn't worry about for battle or anything. If I try, and originally I started with oppress 1T for tough, and I just shortened it, and I realized, no, I think I really need to explain and write this out as oppress 1 tough. So it's the player understands, oh, well, I know what oppress is, but it's oppressing bold and tough. No, this is only going to oppress 1 tough for maximals and Autobots. And the normal, a character cannot have tough less than 0, which just, again, should go without saying. And we have 3 different faction cards for that. Project Iacon is a very interesting base card. Let me see if I can go over this. It is a black-green. Okay, when is the start of your turn? After your opponent has finished battle. That's the start of your turn. So at the start of your turn, when a player has more cards in hand than the other. So this is going to affect both of y'all at the table. This is going to affect, you have more cards, they have more cards. Whoever has more cards, they must KO a card from their hand. The other player may draw a card and reveal it. The player that did not draw may play a card with the same pip color drawn by the other player. So, if the player, now I would suspect if you have this as a base card in your deck, you probably are going to try to get some draw abilities to make sure you have more cards in hand. Well, I don't know. This is, and I had the hardest time coming up with what to do for Project Iacon, because it's doing 2 different things here. If you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, you get to KO a card. So you are able to control what card you want to KO to shorten your deck for better probability. The other card, that's at the same time, the other player may draw a card and reveal it. The player that did not draw is going to be able to play another card. So I find this, really interesting. So the same player that's KOing a card from their hand is going to be able to play another card based on the revealed card the player with less cards in their hand has, because they get to draw a card. They don't have to draw a card. That player that did not draw, wait a minute. Okay, let's go back. The other player may draw a card and reveal it. Yes, I put may. One, they probably will want to draw a card. How can I not draw a card if your base card is telling me I can, even though you KO'd a card? The trick is you better hope whatever card that player is going to be revealing, drawing and revealing off the top of their deck is a card your opponent doesn't have in their hand to be able to play a white pip card. You draw a card, it's a white pip escape route, and you put it, you reveal it, you put it in your hand, and at the same time, your opponent who maybe they played Project Iacon, maybe they didn't, and they're like, ooh, well, I have a white pip card, I can play this. So for the most part, the ideal situation here is that whoever has the most cards in hand gets this started, is what gets this triggered, this effect for Project Iacon. I don't know if anyone's done this before. It's a little different, but I like it because both players are kind of getting something out of this. And if you fail to get more cards in your hand than your opponent, and this is your base card, it's going to trigger them. They're going to be able to do this. They're like, well, I've got 3 cards in my hand now. You only have 2. Because not only did you KO a card, you also got to play a card because I drew one. You see? So I think this is pretty fair in some ways. And this could go into the other player's favor, because not only are they getting to draw a card when it's not their turn, possibly, then they're going to be able to draw again when it is their turn. So they could have more cards in hand at that point. Okay? I really think this is a neat thing to help. I find this probably the most interesting, almost well-balanced base card of the whole set. I found this really interesting. I don't know if anyone else has done this, and if someone has, let me know. Protoform X Crash Site is orange and green. There's a lot going on here. Not too much. The attacker, whether that's you or your opponent, has bold one for each character the active player has in their KO. So if your opponent is the attacker and you've knocked out 2 of their characters, they're going to get bold 2 for their active character. The defender has +1 to defense for each character the defender has in their KO. Did I use ATP's terminology here? No, but maybe I could have. Maybe I could have said energize or energized or whatever. Even though I'm using Bayformer's Oppress, let me know. I like how spelling this out, especially since it's a new type of card. I don't want to step on too many other creators' toes, so to speak, even though I think we're kind of all on the same page, but maybe not exactly. So that's what's going forward with the Protoform X Crash Site. Is the attacker is going to be able to, whoever the attacker is going to get bold 1. Whoever the defender is going to get +1 to defense, based on how many characters that are in their each KO. So this is going to be interesting if played later in the game, especially with, say, a combiner team. Again, Pierce always gets through defense. Quintessa. Let's look at 1 or 2 more cards, and I got to call it quits, guys. Quintessa is a black and green pip. I think we've looked at this before. Each Quintesson has stealth while untapped. And just like a lot of other bases, this Quintessa is a planet. So these are its rules. Autobot or Decepticon upgrades can't be played by either player. So, yeah. This is great if you're playing Quintessons, whether they're mine or the Arcs or Bayformers or whoever, as well as even mercenaries. Even if you don't have Quintessons or a mixed team, to be able to give any Quintesson stealth, you're going to be able to stop your opponent from playing upgrades while Quintessa is in play. Interesting. I like this. Of course, they play a base card that gets knocked out. They play, I can't think of all my other little cards that I've done that can, the action card, the secret action card, the upgrade, etc., that can knock this out. Then you can, when it's your turn, they've played Quintessa, you're like, well, dadgummit, I've got Noble's Blaster, I have the Matrix, I have whatever, and I can't play it because your stupid Quintessa base card. I have something, I can knock this out, and now I can play my cards for turn. That's the whole point. I like this. What do y'all think? Quintesson ship, I think we've already looked at when I did a video looking at all the ships, so this should go pretty quick. And Quintessa didn't have any traits on their pips, but the Quintesson ship does. Only Quintessons can get the golly, that's a mouthful. Quintesson ship on the flip. It is white and green. So for a Quintesson team, if you're doing that, I need to try once I was putting all my cards up in the boxes and everything, in chests and in my storage, I'm like, I just want to play this now. Even though I'm stuck playing by himself, I just find the game very technical, satisfying. That's the best way I can put it. So reducing Autobot and Decepticons total pierce by 2 for battle. So it's not it's not sturdy, which is damage from what I understand. It's their total pierce. So if they're playing with a really big pierce deck and they flip pierce, I don't know, pierce 6, attack of 5. Now their pierce is down by 4, so it's an attack of 5, pierce 4, instead of getting the full pierce 5 for the max attack, you know. Autobot and Decepticon upgrades cannot be played by either player. A character cannot have pierce less than 0. So, you know, just a lot of the obvious stuff. It's very similar to Quintessa. Well, Quintessa is going to give your Quintessons stealth while untapped. And yes, we do have another card that helps just give them... Where is it? Is it the non-faction layer? No, it's the Nutty Alien Bungalow that gives just stealth across the board for Quintessons, tap or untapped. But so the Quintessa gives stealth only while untapped. The Quintesson ship is still going to be able to prevent both players from playing Autobot and Decepticon upgrades, but it's also going to help reduce Autobot and Decepticon pierce by 2 for battle. So that's all I really have time for. What do y'all think? We went over about 6 cards here. Coming up next will be the RAAT headquarters. I pronounce it RAT, but we'll see. More stuff to come. We're on the downhill slope. Because I think this should go pretty quick, because some of these we've already looked at. We've already looked at Surf's Up, which is in this list. You might have an idea of how the rectifier coil and the standing stones works, because they're still going to be very similar to my ideas from before when I was doing this on my old phone. And then the Arc is coming up, traffic jam, train station. We'll see you next time. Thanks for following. Thanks for being here. I hope you like the format. If you like this format, throw some scraplets at the like button, and we'll see you next time. Have a blessed day, and as always, for a time I considered spilling your wretched little planet, Cybertron, but now you shall witness the TCG's dismemberment.